Funding for music is provided by the United States Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, Office of Education, and Allied Chemical Corporation.
To me, that is one of the most beautiful melodies. A rich, dignified, very British melody. So rich that this melody would stand up very well, all alone, with no accompaniment at all. But the accompaniment, that music that I was playing with my left hand, wouldn't stand up very well without the melody. You see, melody is the most important part of nearly all music. It doesn't matter whether the music is classical or folk or rock or Eastern or Western, or whether it's sung or played on an instrument. The melody is the part of the music you sing when you're alone. And it's probably the part of the music you remember after you've forgotten everything else. Now look, let me show you some things about melody, but to do this, I'm going to have to play a trick on some friends of mine, and I'm going to put this disguise on so they don't recognize me when I see them. I think we're just in time.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart...
She's singing a song that sounds very familiar.
And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth... What happened to my melody? Let earth... This is a job for the melody doctor.
Here I am. Did someone send for me? I'm the melody doctor in person. Here I am. What can I do for you?
Oh, yes, doctor. I've lost my melody.
A common complaint, a very common complaint. Don't panic, whatever you do. It's all right. Just don't panic. Now, tell me, when last heard, what did your melody sound like?
Well, doctor, it started on a high note, and then it went down step by step by step.
Step by step by step. You mean those notes were connected?
Yes, doctor, yes. That's right. They are connected. They started here and just came tumbling down like this.
Just like that, tumbling down like that. Well, I think we can have those notes back to you in a jiffy, because I think I know that melody very well. I've heard it many times myself. Here comes my jiffy melody board. See if that's going to be of any assistance to us. Thank you, boy. Move along. Your bed of nails is double parked. Hard to get good help today. Very hard. You see, it's very common to find melodies which have a lot of connected notes. Notes right next door to each other. For example, young lady, does this seem to be your first note, this one here?
Let me try it. La. You seem a little low to me.
What? Me? Low? This is an outrage. This is an insult. I won't stand for it. I may sit for it, however.
No, doctor, not you. The note.
Well, I was just testing. Have no fear. Have no fear. Let's take the same note and move it up here and see. Now, try that one, little lady. See if that works a little bit better.
La. That feels right, and it looks right. But the most important thing is what comes next. This is just one note, and my melody had many notes.
Right you are. I was just checking again to see if you knew what you were talking about. Let's try several of these. Try that one again.
La, 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 la.
Last and certainly not least.
La.
Well done, well done. Very, very good.
Doctor, it's so close, but there's something missing.
Something missing.
Of course. In my melody, I held some notes longer than others, and some notes were shorter than others. In your melody, every note is held the same amount of time.
Ha! I've got it now. I've got it. I know exactly what you mean, and I can fix it. You wait right there. See? As you sing down the melody the next time, I think you'll notice that some of these notes should be longer than others. We can tell. This is a nice long one, for example. This is no shorty, this one with a dot here. That's what that dot means. This little thing here makes that note very short. This dot makes that note very long. This stem makes that one kind of short. And this one, because it's empty in the middle, is held a long, long time. Now, see if you can sing down this time, and I think we've got what you want. Are you ready?
La, 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 la.
Bravo, bravo,
That's it,
bravo.
doctor, that's it. That's exactly where I was when you came in.
You know, lady, it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing how many melodies are made up of notes that are connected, that move step by step. Now, you keep that in mind, and remember that your melody keeps going downward, and you'll never lose your melody again.
Oh, doctor, how can I ever thank you?
Thank me? Thank me? Who said anything about thanking me? That'll be $5,000. And if you can't afford it, I'm taking you for collateral. Marvin Collateral. That's the name I use when I'm the melody dentist. Next victim.
One of you guys stole my melody.
What are you talking about, man?
My melody. I'm talking about my melody. I've lost my melody.
Ladies and gentlemen, is there a melody doctor in the house?
There certainly is. There certainly is a melody doctor in the house. Did you call for a melody doctor? What seems to be the trouble here? Speak right up. Don't be embarrassed.
Well, man, I was just playing my favorite tune, and then all of a sudden the melody just went boom, gone, man.
Boom, gone, man. Well, what did your melody seem to sound like?
Well, it started down very low,
Mhm.
and then I played every other note.
Mm-hmm. Every other note. Not like a scale? No connected notes here?
No, Doc, more like going upstairs two at a time.
Mhm.
First I play a note, and then I skip one.
Mhm.
Then I play another note, and then I
Mhm.
skip one.
Mhm.
Then I play a note and skip another note.
And that's the way it went, eh?
That's the way the beginning of it went.
Uh-huh. You know, this is a very common problem, the kind you find around the house all the time. You see, a lot of melodies are made up of skips, and sometimes the skips are very wide, and sometimes the skips are very close together, and that's the way yours seem to be. Well, let me see if I can't help find your melody and help put it back together for you again. I need my melody board. Assistant, let's help bring out the melody board here and see if we can't put this back together again. Go tell your mother she ought to be ashamed of herself. Thank you very much. Well, you know, good help is so hard to find these days, it's ridiculous. It really is. Now, you say that your melody started out down low, right about here, and then you said you skipped a note, and then there was another one, and then you said you skipped another note, and then there was another one, and then you said you skipped another note, and then there was another one, and then you said you skipped a note, and then there was another one. Hey, how about that? Is that what you said? I think that's what you said. Now, let's see if those 5 notes don't help put your melody back together again. Want to try that?
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's the melody you're looking for? Because I've got a melody that starts just like that. It's by a composer named Bartok, and it goes like this. Or even an old tune, I Can't Get Started.
Yeah, well, my melody was written by Gershwin, and it starts the same as yours does, but then it's completely different.
Hold it. Wait a second. Now, I told you it was a very common problem. Lots of melodies have skips in them, and even the same skips, as you can see by those melodies, the same skips. Now, these skips, or spaces, or distances between the notes, they're called intervals. And every melody has intervals, whether they're close together or very far apart. Excuse me, is that house on fire over there? I think it is. Thank you very much. Now, if you had intervals, you had to... If you had intervals, you had to... Something's the matter here. If you didn't have intervals, you'd have to keep repeating the same note over and over again, like this. Now, even connected notes where the tones go step by step, they're intervals too. They're just smaller intervals like this. Now, they weren't too far apart, and your song had skips that weren't too far apart either. But listen to these wide intervals. These intervals are kind of far apart. Listen to this. Makes it patter a bit, doesn't it? Ha ha. But listen to this one. Here's another one very wide. Listen to this interval, how far apart this one is. See? If you remember the distances or intervals that make up your melody, and if you know which direction the sound is moving, up or down, you'll never lose it again. What do you think of that? Does that help understand intervals a little bit better?
Doc, that's terrific. How can we ever thank you?
Pick a card, any card at all. 8 of clubs. I'm afraid you lose. Thank you very much. 2 down, 1 to go.
What happened?
I don't know. Gee, I don't know what's wrong, but I don't think we can fix this ourselves.
Well, I guess we better call for the Melody Doctor.
In person and once again to the rescue. Melody Doctor is in person once again to the rescue. That's the way it goes. Say, what's the matter? Did you two lose a melody?
No, Doctor, we've only lost half a melody.
Half of it. Half of it. You mean there's half a melody floating around here someplace? Nobody leave this room. Call Scotland Yard. Call the exterminator. I thought this place was bugged. Now, tell me, please, what did this first half melody sound like?
Well, it sounded something like this.
Don't start any long books. Well, now let's see what we can do about that. If I have my magic melody board, assistance, please. Let's take a look at this. That's a little bit more dependable. Thank you. There's a bus leaving for St. Louis. Be under it. Help is so hard to get. Now let's take a look at this thing. Let's see what we have here. In the beginning of your melody, it seems you skip up 3 notes from here to here, and you leave that one bare. And then we have a lot of connected notes here, as far as I can say. Uh-oh, look out, look out. Here's another skip, a downward skip from here, leaving this one out to here, leaving this one out to here, then more connected notes. That's the way it usually goes. All the way down here, more skips from here to here, leaving that one out. And here's a repeated note. That's a funny one, isn't it? This is a connected note. That's a connected note. That's a connected... more downward skips and another downward skip. It's beginning to take shape. The whole thing is beginning to take shape. And I think... Aha!
Yes.
Aha!
Yes.
Aha!
Yes.
To tell you the truth, I'm not quite sure. How quickly they turn. Let me tell you, this is not an easy life. But I think that this melody is very much like thousands of other melodies, and that the second half is going to be almost a repeat of the first half. Look, I want you to play the melody again. Play the first half that you have, and then start to play it over again. But when you get to just where this would be, I want you to stop, because I have a feeling something's going to change.
All right.
Give it a try there. Than nothing at all. What do you think?
I think I know what happens. The first part leaves everything hanging. It doesn't sound like it's over. The second part has to finish it off to give it a complete feeling.
Very good. Maybe you've got something there. No comment. Maybe she's got something there. Why don't you try an ending and see what happens? You know, it works, by golly, it works. Now, what I've got to do is change this and make the ending that you've got. All right, kids, there we have it. I think you're right, and together we've got this whole thing together again. Now, I want you to play the second half of the melody with that ending, and I think we've got it. Let's try it.
Okay.
Bravo, bravo, beautiful, beautiful.
How can we ever thank you?
How can you ever thank me? Well, if you're having no trouble with melody, take a couple of these and call me in the morning. That's all you have to do. Thank you very much. Well, I guess it's not a bad idea to keep a melody doctor around for when you're trying to remember some things about a melody. But what about composing a melody? Now remember, we said that all melodies are made up of connected notes and intervals, close intervals and faraway intervals, and whole sections of a melody which can repeat, and that some melodies are even very similar, and that there are millions of melodies and none of them is exactly the same. Now, Stephen Burton, you're a composer. Do you think about things such as repeated notes and intervals and connected notes when you compose a melody?
Sure, Murray. They're the alphabet of music. You You couldn't write music without them any more than you could write a story without knowing how to spell.
Okay, but when you start to compose a melody, does the melody just pop into your head? Is that the way it works?
Yeah, sometimes when you're lucky, but most of the time you have to put a melody together, and that's, after all, what the word compose means, to put together. For example, if I take a few notes like this, that can be the beginning of a melody, and I can go on to add some more notes like this. And finally, what results is a big tune. And all that came out of just those first three notes.
Now, do melodies sometimes represent or try to describe places, people, events in history?
Yeah, sometimes, Murray, but there's a lot of music that exists just for its own sake. A Mozart symphony doesn't try to describe people or places or things. It just exists for its own sake. The meaning of the music is in the music itself.
The meaning of the music is in the music itself. That's very nice. Now, what was this you were just playing just a minute ago?
This is from that song cycle I did for Ken Regal that we did with the Louisville Orchestra.
But some melodies are composed to express something, someone, somewhere, some idea, or some event in history. In 1900, a man from this very beautiful country of Finland by the name of Jan Sibelius composed a piece of music with a melody that just about everyone loved immediately. The entire composition, but especially that main melody, described land and sea and history, and most especially the people. Now, even today, the people of Finland know this melody in the same way that we know America the Beautiful. Now, the main melody of Finlandia is put together like all the others you've heard today. Some very close intervals and some very wide skips, some repeated notes, even entire parts of the melody repeated. But behind that melody and throughout the whole composition is the feeling, the passion of the composer Sibelius for his country. Then, too, there are some harsh, near-tragic sounds, other moods which are more delicately expressed and comforting, sounds which seem like grandfatherly advice from Finland's noble past, and a very heroic march on the way to that famous Finlandia tune, all of it ending hopefully, joyfully, triumphantly.
Funding for music was provided by the United States Department of Health, Education and Welfare, Office of Education, and Allied Chemical Corporation.